Thank you. So I'm sure everyone has been talking about the fact that Pokemon Go took over the world last year, which has been amazing for our industry as a whole. It got so many consumers all over the world using and loving AR and talking about it. Since then, we've seen a dramatic drop in their users, and I've seen a few articles saying, is this just a fad? We all know that's not the case. We know AR is changing every industry from entertainment to military to gaming, healthcare, etc. And they all have marketing and advertising budgets with experiential in there, which is what VNTANA focuses on. So a lot of advertising to date has gotten stale. This is, Times Square. We all ignore these billboards at this point. We all know how to ignore pop-up ads. They don't even register anymore. Gary Vaynerchuk had a great talk at South by Southwest a few years ago, and he said, even the drivers are on their cell phones. No one is looking at these billboards. It's a waste of your money in your advertising spend. And it's all about experiences. Millennials define luxury as an experience, not a product. So how do you sell them something? And Gen Z is now even surpassing us in purchasing power, according to Ernst & Young, and they're digital natives who demand to be talked to with the latest and greatest in tech. So all of these brands and advertising agencies need to look at experiential marketing and create these amazing experiences to connect with them and their brand. Past generations, to show off wealth, would buy a fancy car, park it in their driveway, their neighbors could see it. Now it's traveling the world, posting on Instagram, #Wanderlust. It's a completely different way of defining wealth. And so with that, events are a great place to start. And AR is such an amazing tool to use for this because of its power of empathy and connecting with consumers' emotions. And when you're talking with a brand, they never want to start out and invest $1 million at first. They say, okay, let's test it out first. And events are a great way to start. I don't know how many other scientists there are out there, but you have a finite sample size, you have a set duration. You can measure the impact after, you can analyze it, and then improve for your next event. So at VNTANA, I founded the company with my partner Ben 5 years ago. We started with events to do this and figure out the best way to use AR as advertising. And you really have to think about the whole way you design that experience. And the very first question is, what is the goal? This seems super obvious, but it's really important. So many brands today, AR and VR are buzzwords, and my boss wants us to use it, so let's do something at this event. Okay, what's the goal? Do you want PR? Do you want to understand the product preferences of your consumers? What are you going for? And then how are consumers going to sign up for this? Because you want to be able to track them in some way. The whole goal of an event is to communicate and engage with your consumer and learn something from them after. And then there needs to be some type of incentive to engage. Why are they going to want to do this? Why are they going to want to download this app? And then really define those key metrics to reach your goal. What defines success? How are you going to measure that after the fact? And then the last is to have some type of take-home that can live on past that event. These brands, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars at these events, not to have a cool party. It's so that they can perpetuate their brand message long after the fact. And a take-home, whether that's digital or something in someone's hand that they can remember and share, is huge. So I'm going to go through a few different types of examples with different AR. Of course, you have mobile, like Pokemon Go. This is a great use case. You can design fun treasure hunts, doing something like GPS, like Pokemon Go. I've seen a lot of great examples where you get to get a picture next to your favorite celebrity. Maybe it's promoting a new film. Nothing is as shareable as a selfie with a celebrity, from my experience. So that's a great way to get people taking home and sharing that message. And starting with the kind of guided steps from my last slide, first, what is that goal? Do you want people exploring your venue? Do you want people telling their product preferences? You need to design the experience with that in mind. The sign up, definitely best to get them to sync with their Facebook. You're going to learn the most information from them from that. You could also use Twilio and get them to text a code to a number that sends them a link to then download. But you want to keep the lowest barrier to entry possible. No one wants to fill out a 10-question survey to do a game. And then the incentive. Is it that selfie with their favorite celebrity? Is it a gamified application like Pokemon Go where they can earn points? Is the person who really reaches the end of that treasure hunt and finds the goal, can they get featured on your Facebook page or on your website? These are all things that have been really successful for us in the past. And then that take home, of course, you know, taking photos next to the landmarks, the digital signage is a great thing for people to post and share, and you can track after. And then we have headsets. Headsets are still super novel. I mean, we're here at an AR convention, and I only saw one person walking around wearing one, which was pretty interesting to me. But everyone was waiting in lines. I saw like hour-long lines for Microsoft and ODG and some of the other ones. So that novelty factor is still getting people to wait in line and watch that. But we've actually started partnering with VR companies to do holograms so they have something to watch while they're waiting. So that novelty, you know, will eventually wear off, and then you'll have to come up with what is that incentive that they're going to have. Is it a discount for your product, or do they get a special experience? You know, what is that incentive for them to want to do this game? And then the take home's also pretty hard with this. I mean, I don't want a picture of myself wearing a headset and like going like this at an event. But you can do all kinds of different things. Maybe that's following up with a branded email, or if they're designing the product in 3D, you know, say they get to design their Lexus car and they get to pick their color, their rims, their interior, they're seeing this 3D object with the glasses. And then you can have a 3D printer that prints that for them to take home. We've done things like that. That's been a big hit. And then you have what we do, which is holograms. So ours is standalone hardware that projects holographic images so everybody in this room can see and interact together. We've always focused on that group experience. So this is great for malls, casinos, stadiums, places where people aren't necessarily going to have a headset or wait in line, but you can grab them and capture their attention. So this is something we did for Nike. Believe it or not, they sponsor high school football teams in Texas, which was new to me. And we did a hologram to show off their new uniforms. And I've got a video that we're going to play, hopefully. I'm just kidding. I did it separately because I was worried about the problem the last speaker had.
For next Saturday, let's get it.
I can see the video. Yeah. Yeah, and that goes back. Oh, here we go.
Introducing the Lone Star Rangers. August 27th. All white. All white.
So definitely elicits emotion. Yeah, so they had a lot of fun with that. You could see they all had Snapchat open, all of them. We actually got this video off of Twitter, and it was one of the videos that the kids posted, which was pretty cool. We had over 13,000 online engagements, and there was only 400 attendees, so that almost doubled the industry standard for online reach post-event. Another example of what we do, whoops, I'm gonna go back. It is fully interactive. So Lexus is one of our clients. They had cars at all their sports sponsorships, brand ambassadors standing next to them asking you to give them their email. No one wants to do that. They were getting maybe 1 to 2 emails a game. So what we did, starting with the Clippers Courtside Club, was we created an interactive, gamified experience where you could see your hologram live. If you went like this, a hologram basketball appeared on your fingers, and you had to keep your wrist under the ball to keep it balanced, and it would count your seconds and score. It was a huge success. We more than doubled their qualified leads, which was huge. Diplo came by and did it, who's a top 10 DJ, put it on his Snapchat. Anthony Anderson came and did it. He has got season tickets. He did it every game because he kept trying to beat his score. So gamification is something, it's a real incentive that's going to get people coming back. Our system automatically records everything, so you get a video emailed to you that you can immediately post to social media. So you get that user-generated content, which is so valuable. I talked in the beginning how people, they just ignore banner ads at this point. And that's because I'm so much more likely to click on something that my sister posts than the pop-up banner ad from Bloomingdale's. User-generated content is 50% more trusted, it's 35% more memorable, and 20% more likely to lead to a sale, which is huge for our clients. And then on top of that, we're tracking all types of data from you. So we only require you to enter your email because, again, we want that low barrier to entry, but we need to know who you are. And then everything else is done with facial tracking and through the experience. So because we get your image, I can tell your age, your gender, and even your sentiment, which is important. So I know you're happier looking at a blue car than a red car. And we can give that type of product preference to our clients. And we actually sync directly with their CRM system. So local dealers, in Lexus's case, could reach out and act on those sales. So you're actually adding to the bottom line of that client. And it's really that big data that's so important. It's that data that's going to give your client the reason to say, hey, boss, this worked. We should keep spending money on this. And that's really what we have found to be so successful. So I'll kind of leave it at that, and I'll see if there's any questions.
We have a few minutes for questions if anyone has any.
In the back. I'm sorry?
Demo booth.
Not here. No, I was just here. We're based in LA. Right now we're at Angels, Padres, and Dodgers games for Lexus. We're at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If you're ever in Canton, Ohio, you can get a pep talk from Joe Namath and a few other people. And yeah, we'll be at VidCon. If you follow us on our website, you can find out where to see them next.
I had a question. Anything in terms of what type of hardware that you present to the guests? Anything work better, like headsets, or those work or don't work, or HoloLens versus some kind of fully immersive VR?
Yeah, I mean, from our standpoint, I mean, granted, so my company does the hologram displays. They're the standalone, they're no wearables. What we found, if you're talking about events in public spaces, people don't want to wear anything. And it takes a lot, if a long line forms, people might walk away because they don't want to wait in that line. So we've really found like the non-wearable tech, whether it's they can just download from your phone or it's our standalone hardware, has really worked a lot better. In those types of environments. Whereas, headsets are going to be amazing for manufacturing, for tools to use at work, stuff like that.
Sounds like it depends on the environment, the scenario, the event.
Exactly. Yeah, it goes back to what's the goal.
Right.
Yeah, always. Yep.
Your facial recognition, how are you?
So we're using Google's database. And then because we're using IR sensors and video, so we have a patent to be able to film you in any environment and capture your hologram live. So that's how we can just capture and insert consumers into the experience no matter where you are. And we're taking that data and comparing it with Google's database of faces that can determine age, gender, and sentiment.
So you can capture an audience like here and determine the sentiment of that audience?
Yes. Yeah, and we're implementing it now in all of our displays, whether it's interactive or not. So even if you just walk by and you're looking at a piece of hologram jewelry, we're recording your sentiment, your age, your gender, so we can give that back to the client.
Time for one more quick question.
I think we're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.